News.
It's fair to say that One America News is one of the last remaining networks you can turn to in our nation for honest, reliable reporting. The rest of the corporate news media and legacy networks have been subsumed by greed, corruption, and promoting the message handed to them by the despots in Washington. So it's no surprise then that as one of the last bastions of truth, One America News has increasingly become a target for not only other news networks, which sold out a long time ago, but for members of the political establishment as well. Really, anyone at all who doesn't want their crimes to be exposed. You start turning over rocks and you're going to find some ugly truths. And the repulsive creatures hiding there will always fight back against the light. Well, One America News has never and will never back down from a fight, because reporting the news means reporting the truth, no matter how unpopular it might be. It also means standing up to powerful, dangerous groups whose interests run contrary to the freedoms we love as Americans. That includes the freedom of speech and, of course, the freedom of the press. Here now to discuss this with me is One America News founder and CEO, Robert Herring Sr. Robert, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you. Well, yeah, I mean, you got a busy schedule. You had to cut some time out to be here.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So one of the first things I want to ask you is, a lot of people have been asking us, and we don't want to mention any names, but now that we're not on a certain cable network, how can people tune in to see their favorite news network? How can Americans tune in to find the truth?
We've had thousands of people who have been calling us and asking us that same question. And we're working as hard as we can trying to get OAN live on streaming. So stand by. We'll have it on shortly. I'm trying to get it to the point that an 80-year-old can just plug it in and enjoy it. But sometimes it's a little more duplicated. It is wrong.
All right, we're keeping that one in.
Okay. Anyway, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we're going to keep that one in there. I like that.
But we're getting that straightened out, and shortly we'll have it working for everybody, and they can enjoy One America News and
they can watch it wherever they are.
Watch it wherever they are.
All right. Well, that's good news for a lot of people who are looking for the truth.
Hopefully.
So the mainstream media is just blasting out headlines about Russia invading Ukraine and all this really bombastic language. It sounds like they're trying to start a war. How do you think America should be handling the war in Ukraine? Do you think there's a way that we can get out of this peacefully?
I think that we need to get out of it seriously in every way that we can think of. And I talked to a gentleman named President Trump at one point and asked him if he could help. And he answered yes. And then when I started trying to figure out how and everything and what, he had some ideas about it that I thought would be pretty good. But we got into that war by the president we have now. Because as you know, Russia has been telling us for years,
don't put NATO on the doorstep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Right. And fortunately, Biden is doing that to get a war.
Right. He's trying to drag us into one.
And I don't know why, but they are dragging us into one. And I think if we don't stop at some place, it's going to be a nuclear war, which is not going to be fun.
I mean, they're going to start World War III.
Yeah, well, it'll be worse than that. Okay. And I think that if we don't do something now and start this thing and try and get the two people together, and rather than having a war,
right,
we need to actually get out right now and start trying to do something.
Before it's worse, yeah.
Yeah, and America right now is bragging about showing ships to Russia to Ukraine to be Russian ships to be shot, and that's things that they're doing is just really going to start this war going. And so we need to settle it down somehow. And I think maybe Trump talking to him would work. There may be other ways that you have, but we got to do something.
Now, can you imagine if Trump went over there and met with Putin, and then just Putin gets on the air the next day and says, all right, we're moving out of Ukraine, that's it. Can you imagine what the left would do?
I don't know what they would do, to be honest with you.
They'd lose their minds.
I know they lose their mind, but it seems like the people are trying to do wars.
Right, no, they are.
And it's just something we don't need, and our people don't need, our children don't need. We need to do something. So.
Well, when you look at what Biden has done here in America, he's destroyed our economy, sent inflation through the roof, gas prices, let millions of illegals in. All the things he's doing to us, why not start a war and maybe have a little distraction from all of that?
I don't think there's anything that's going to distract it right now. You have gas going up and everything else, and you can't distract what's happening.
Right.
So we need to distract the war.
Right. So we're often accused by the radical left of, being a hard right news station, and that's how they've tried to paint you for a number of years now. But that's not actually the whole picture, is it? Because, Mr. Herring, you have a history of voting for both sides and supporting whichever party you think is the best.
I think when I was 20 years old, I voted for Kennedy. I voted for Obama. What I try and do is vote for the person that I think will be the best for America. Now, sometimes I've been wrong, but sometimes I've been right. So
you even kind of toyed with the idea of supporting Hillary at one point, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I think I even gave her some money. So.
Wow, how about that?
But at that point, I thought that was the best. So
I think people need to understand that's how you're running this company. Whatever direction you think is the best way.
Well, you guys also help me telling me what's best, as you know. I get a lot of information from you. But that is true. We're all trying to do the best that we can. So, and we put out the news that's real news. It's not coming directly from me. It's coming from our people. So,
So it's probably worth pointing out, and along the lines of our last question, that One America News has consistently been at odds with the mainstream headlines for the last couple of years. Whatever they're saying, we're usually reporting the opposite. And it turns out in the end, we're usually right. I mean, I have a list here. We were right about the Hunter Biden scandal and his disgusting laptop, the Wuhan and the Fauci engineered virus, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, false flag chemical attacks in Syria, the white helmets, and probably we're going to be right about the 2020 elections as well. I think that says something about our reporting, doesn't it?
I personally think that we're definitely going to be doing the 2020 report right, okay? I personally feel that he was cheated, and we're getting news every day that's starting to prove that. And we'll keep getting that news. Our people are working on it every day trying to get it. So eventually, and there's some stuff coming out that we know about in the next couple of weeks that will prove it even more. And we're going to be behind it when it does.
It seems like One America News is usually behind whatever the truth is.
We've been doing pretty well, as you know, because the people have been trying to tell us, well, that is just for a horse.
Yeah, ivermectin, right.
But it wasn't for a horse.
No.
And it saved a lot of people. And it will continue saving a lot of people if they use it. So
yeah, they just have to listen to us.
Yep.
And, when they try and cover us up and censor our news, I mean, they're literally killing people by covering up that life-saving information.
They are. A lot of people are dying with the virus, but they could use the stuff that we've been telling them, or go to a doctor and ask them about using it, and you'd be surprised how many people were saved.
Right.
We have doctors that are treating it.
Like Dr. Tyson.
Yes, and he hasn't lost a person yet.
No. No, he hasn't. He's treated something like 7,000 or 8,000 people successfully.
And I think there's some people talking about going back and doing it again that I'm listening to, and I don't think we want to do that. We want to get rid of those masks. We want to get rid of the stuff like that and see if we can come back to America the way it's supposed to be.
Right. Just open the country up again.
Right.
So even though we have a long track record of reporting factual news that no one else covers, the radical left is still trying to censor us. They're still trying to censor conservatives and lock down control of the media, prevent people like Elon Musk from opening up Twitter. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on how they're coming after us? How can conservatives respond?
Well, I think there's only 2 or 3 of us that are actually doing that. Tucker Carlson seems to be the one that's putting out real news. I know One America is, and I'm very proud of it. But there's a lot of different companies that don't want to say anything about what's really going on. But we're fighting it all the way. We have some people suing us. There's quite a few, in fact. And they're suing us for some real money, like $1.6 billion or something. It's something
right,
I can't even think of. I've been saving a lot, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to cover it.
I'll bring in my piggy bank.
Okay. But we're working on that. And I think that eventually we'll be the ones that will win. If we stay with giving just the real news and keep working on it, and the people get it, first of all, most of the people I've met really appreciate what we're doing. So we're having some fun, but the people that are being sued are kind of being quiet. And we're not going to do that. We're going to go out and do exactly the same thing we've been doing. We go to jail if it's wrong, but we're going to fight
Right,
it all
'cause
the way.
even if you back down and you apologize, like Fox News did, like Newsmax did, they still come after you and sue you.
They
so
do.
you may as well keep pushing the truth.
Well, I just like to push the truth no matter what. So, and we're not afraid of them. So, I'm 80 years old. They can't do too much longer. So, we'll have some fun.
All right, going into the next question. For everyone who's out there and they're wondering about the lawsuits that One America News is facing, what would you tell them? Where is One America News headed? Should they be worried about these $1.6 billion lawsuits?
Well, I don't think they should be worried because what we did is right. And sooner or later, that's going to come up, okay? It's okay. You have to go to court. Hopefully, you'll get a good judge, or at least an honest judge.
At least someone who's not associated with Soros.
That's
bought and
true.
paid
Okay?
for.
That's true. And we may have a few of those some places. I don't know. But if you get a good judge and you go in there and you've done the right thing, you shouldn't have to worry. And I'm not, okay? So at this point, we're going to keep doing what we were doing. We're going to bring out the news. If there's something wrong, that we're going to show it. And
we're not backing down.
we're not backing down.
No, we never have. Why would we start now?
Well, I don't know, but we're not backing down where it seems everybody else is. And I think I don't really know why they do that, okay? There must be a reason for the people backing all this stuff down and not putting out real news. I can't figure it out.
Well, I think we know why.
I don't know why.
I mean, they're controlling the narrative from top to bottom, and they're coming after us because we're not part of it.
Well,
we're not playing ball.
That's true. That's why we really have to watch out for Elon right now. He's trying to tell the truth. He's doing things that have never been done before. I mean, you hear them coming up with Twitter and all this stuff and trying to straighten it out. But he's going to be sued a lot, too. And we're going to have to get behind him and help him, too. So all the people out there that are watching it need to know that he's trying to do right. Very strange to see somebody doing that lately.
Yeah.
But he's quite a guy, and we'll support him as much as we can.
Outstanding. All right, Robert, last question. What does the future look like for One America News? Where are we going from here, and what do the American people need to know about your vision for One America News?
My vision is just to keep telling the news straight, okay? And we're going to continue doing that. People like you that come in and help us, and we get real news. You can't beat it. Now, we're looking to hire more people like you. Having a hard time finding anybody.
Oh, there are none. There's only one. That's probably a good thing.
But we are looking for some people like that. We're looking for some people to help us with our, I don't know what I'd call it again, but trying to get the news out in different areas in any way that we can. We take all the help we can get from the people, too. Call cable companies and tell them you'd like to have us on.
Call Charter.
Call Charter. They're very good people. And in the end, we're going to beat this thing. I know it for sure. So when I go to bed at night, I'm fine. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go out and do it. So we're ready.
The bottom line is, as long as we don't quit, we'll win.
We're not going to quit. I don't think you're going to quit, are you?
Nope.
Okay. And then most of the people here are fighters and everything, and they know what's right. So at this point, we don't have to worry. And the people out there, if they really want the real news, all they have to do is tune in. So.
All right.
And if you want to look for some horse food, I know where you would go to. So, but we're having fun. So,
sounds good. Robert Herring, CEO of One America News. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.